I'm Hello, this is Dale.
Hi, this is Gwen.
And we're going to tell you about our train ride on the Amtrak train number 6 from Colfax, California to Truckee, California. That was Gary, our conductor, who was signaling for us to get on to the correct coach.
After we got on that correct coach, we went up to the sightseeing lounge where we could view what you're seeing right now much better.
And this is the Immigrant Gap. It's one of the first places that we came across after leaving Colfax. Immigrant Gap is one of the final challenges for the pioneers that were coming to California in the 1840s and 1850s. They had to lower their wagons after taking their wagons apart, and even their livestock had to be lowered over a cliff to get to Immigrant Gap.
Which is what you're seeing right now. I think they call it Bear Valley.
Yes, I think the narrator mentioned Bear Valley. We had a narrator from the California State Railroad Museum, which accompanied the train from Sacramento to Reno.
What you're seeing now is a tunnel that we went through. We went through many tunnels. Evidently, when each tunnel was built, they gave it a number as to how, in progression of how they were built. This is I-80 that you're seeing.
The train tracks pretty much parallel Interstate 80. If you were to drive from Colfax to Truckee, it would take about an hour. Our train trip took about 2 hours and 20 minutes. The reason it was so much longer, I think, is because the train rarely got more than 30 miles an hour because of the steepness of the grade and because of the many turns that were made on the trip.
And it was a disappointment too, because being Amtrak, we thought we would be zooming down the train tracks, but nope, we only went about 30 miles an hour.
This trip was a little different from the trip from Truckee to Colfax. We got to sit in the sightseeing lounge car, whereas the trip from Truckee to Colfax we sat in a coach.
Notice the two engines up there were being pulled by two engines.
This was probably a 9 or 10 car train. All of the cars in front of the sightseeing lounge car were sleeper cars, and I think the dining car was up there. The cars behind us were all the coach cars.
If you notice the train track as we went around that corner, that's the track we came out of to Colfax, and we're on another track on the other side of that.
There were two tracks the entire length, which allows trains to pass each other. One going one way and one going the other way. We're approaching Donner Summit now. Interstate 80 will get to about 7,100 feet to go over Donner Summit. Our train will get to about 6,900 feet because we're going to end up going through a tunnel rather than actually having to go through the pass. One of the first places that you'll see when we get to the summit is a place called Soda Springs, and the Soda Springs Hotel That's very near Royal Gorge Nordic ski area, where I used to ski when I lived here. I actually lived in the Lake Tahoe area for 13 years, and I would often come to the Royal Gorge Nordic ski area to go Nordic skiing.
As you can see, fall colors are really prominent right now.
And this is the Soda Springs Hotel that I was mentioning. So we're very near the summit, Donner Summit. That hotel was made in the early 1900s. Very shortly you're going to see us pass under a ski lift. Here's the ski lift. That ski lift goes right over the top of the train tracks, and that is from Sugar Bowl. And Sugar Bowl is one of the nicer alpine skiing resorts in the Donner Summit area.
To get to Donner Lake, we had to come west to east, then east to west, and back to west to east. It was a what was it?
Horseshoe
corner.
That's the old train.
So the track made a 180-degree turn.
And that was to allow the train to get up in elevation.
Yes, I brought
And what you're seeing now is the old track way across the way that was made by Chinese people.
snacks.
They made that tunnel from each end and they met in the middle. And it took them about 2 years to do that.
And that was built in 1867. And that's when this first route was created. There's Interstate 80 again, coming down the east side of the Sierras to Donner Lake, and this is the view of Donner Lake that we got as we were coming down the east side of Donner Lake.
We're passing through the Sierra Nevada mountains. And we were disappointed there wasn't any snow up there yet.
I think this would be a great ski trip on the train. But we're about to come into the Truckee station. It's only about a 5 or 10 minute train ride from this point. And so we're about to enter the Truckee station, which will be the end of our video here. One of the valleys that we go through before we reach Truckee is the Cold Stream Valley, which is where the horseshoe turn is that makes the 180-degree turn. All of that was just to lose altitude because we had to drop 700 feet from the top of Donner down to Truckee. And then the train will continue from that point on to Reno.
Yay, that was great. I think I said more than you did.